Welcome to or welcome back to Watch the Ads. I'm still ads. Today I've got to try and figure out how to do this wiring loom. I've looked at several different ways of doing it. Well, a couple of different ways of doing it. One of them is to cut it up this end and then redo the whole thing. But to be honest, I think I'm just going to go with disconnecting it and trying to pull it all through, because if I cut it and put it all back together and rejoin everything, when I put all of the units and all the cladding and everything else on the walls, if anything else goes wrong, I've got to pull it all apart. So at this point, I just want it to be working. So if I can pull it all out, it's going to be a mission. I've got to do it. I'd rather do that, because when I put it all back together again, I'll be able to see that it's all working, it'll all be intact, and I won't have to worry about it. If I go rejoining the wires, at some point something could come undone. I'm not an electrician, I'm not very good at that sort of stuff, so I think it'll be a mission, but let's get it on. Just have to do it. When you pull all the clips off and pull everything slightly, you can sort of see where it all goes. Like this one here is headed down inside the wall, down to here, and then it threads through there. And if I'm lucky, it's only those two plugs. So I just have to unplug those and I'll be able to pull that one back through here. So that one there is to the earth. So the rest of them, by the looks of it, it's strange that they're in a separate, like you can't unplug it, but yeah. So it looks like I have to take all the side lights out as well, which I was hoping I wouldn't have to do. It's a bit much, but got to do it, got to do it. So best get at that, really. She's a quick learner. Right, this one was a bit of a bugger to get off, but now that they're disconnected, you should be able to unclip it from in there. It's alright. Unclip it from in here and pull them through. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to write where I got it from on here, because chances are I'm going to forget. So I'll wrap them up, put a bit of tape on them and write down what it is, where I got them from, so I know where to put them back, because that's important. Just realised that everything was being recorded on time lapse, so now I've got to just explain quickly what it is I've been doing. I've come along the bottom here, the loom, the bottom half of this side of the loom stops there. I'm trying to figure out how to get all of these bits out. So these are for the side lights. These ones dangling down here are for the side lights. If you go around the other side, you can actually, if you pull off there, don't try and pull that off, because I pulled that off, now I've got to stick that back on. There's actually a plug there, look. You pop the grommet back through, happy days. So if we look down on this one, this is the end of the run, as it were. That grommet there should pull straight through like that from the outside. And then if we go out here, it's this piece of trim here. Crack him off, and as you can see there, look, there's your plug. You unplug him and pop him back through that. Oh, get in there. Right, don't make the same mistakes I did. You don't actually have to take any of those side lights out, because just here I found a plug. So all I have to do is unplug that and that'll come straight out from there. So all of them can go back in. Didn't need to unplug them in the first place. But now we know. That makes it a lot easier on the other side. I actually did feel along here thinking that I had that sussed, but I didn't, because there it is. There's a plug there that's just going to disconnect that short section there. At least I figured that out now before I went to the other side. But so I'm just going to unplug that. Simple as that. Absolute mug. That's it. That's it. That's the lower section of the wiring loom. So now I can put all of this back. Just going to put all of that back and pretend it never happened. So what I've done is I've wrapped it up with a bit of cling film on the end. I'll probably do a better job than that, just so that it would come out a bit easier, but it's literally rattles down through there, and just dangle it down through the bottom, and so this side here is done. Now it's these bits here and down into there. So I was worried about it for a few weeks because I thought it was going to be a lot more technical than this, but I think because mine's a 2014, I don't have reversing sensors and all of that sort of stuff, and I haven't got anything posh to worry about down the back. It's actually not as serious as I thought. Now, I've got to deal with these now, obviously, but I've got a feeling these are just plugs and points anyway to pull out. So far so good. Okay, jacket's off now, it's getting serious. In order to keep it, I've just run it once, and I put it, because there was no way I put it, I've run it across the top of there, run it over there, and then I tucked it in through there. But I'd really like to keep it cleaner than that. So because I'm going to be boxing this whole section in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jig out a hole here so that I can thread it through all the way up through. So I'm going to thread it. There's a small hole up there. I have actually just threaded the whole thing through that. It was a bit of a struggle, but it does get through if you give it, just be gentle and give it some twists and turns and pokes and pulls. But what I'm going to do is, once it's all through onto this level here, there's some big holes around here. So then I'm going to post it all through there so that it's on this level. Pull it through here, and then once it's in there, it can go up into this bit, up into this bit, down into this bit, and yeah, all the necessaries. That's the plan anyway. So far so good. It's fiddly, it's a bit awkward and all of that, but I think that it's going to have the desired results in the end. I just want to be able to keep all of this nice and clean so that I can get straight joins on everything and not messing around too much. But yeah, let's go from there. Just used a fat old hole saw, drill a couple holes in there. Just going to tidy that edge off now. Just give it a little file, get it a bit cleaner. But yeah, I think it went to 26 mil. So a couple holes in there. Hit it with the file. Then I'll tape up around the edges, because obviously I don't want them snagging and pulling and stuff. Just tape the edges off. Where did I put the tape? It's there, isn't it? Got it. It's not going to look pretty. I don't think it really has to. What I'm going to do is just fold a load of bits of tape around the corner, just like that. Just going to keep doing that. Build it up, get yourself a little platform of tape. Now obviously there's probably tidier, more elegant, more professional ways of doing that, but I'm not tidy, elegant or professional, so I'm not really too worried. All I need to make sure is that the wire can fit through there and round to there. That's it. When you do drill a hole for that, make sure you've drilled it big enough for your biggest plugs to fit through with the wire, because obviously that wire's staying. I couldn't get that big plug next to it. Took a bit of fiddling about, but I got it. So that's the result. I've just got to thread them through now. Right, so bodged a massive hole in there. That's worked out quite well. gone along here. I've had to go up through because I didn't want to. I had no way of cutting a hole in there, so I've had to use the hole that was there, which wasn't very big. I managed to post everything through. This job, it was easier. It was on the electrical side of things easier than I thought. It was a lot of plugs, and as long as you mark everything up properly, you know exactly where it's going back, then it wasn't a problem. But as for fiddly, I'd say this was a level 50 out of 50 for fiddly. But with that said, I managed to get it through here, and then I had to drop it down onto the lower, this level underneath, because it had to come out. When you get to this corner, as you can see, I've got a piece that isn't hidden, so I'm gonna have to do something with that, because in here you've got 1, 2, 3 different skins. In there it drops down there, that side goes over, everything goes mad in there, but there was no way of getting from here up to here, although you'd think it was quite straightforward. It's actually not. There's one there, you can't get past that. I could have drilled a hole in there, but it would have only really gotten me nowhere. I'd have had to drill there's one skin there and one skin there. They're both separate skins, so I'd have had to have gone through both of those. So now I'm just going to have to make do with that. But I mean, there's probably a way of doing it. I got to be honest though, I'm over the moon with that. That's all going to be out of the way anyway. I could block all of that in. It's now in behind there now. It comes down there. All of these are connected back up. That's connected up there. Light cluster's connected up back up there. Light cluster's connected back up there is what I was trying to say. But that's one of those jobs that I wasn't really looking forward to doing. But now I've got a straight run. Boof! All of these preparation jobs are, I think they're key. I thought I could just skip a few, like doing the floor, getting rid of this loom, all of that sort of stuff. They are very, you need to get them done. Now that that's done, that's another fiddly ass little job out of the way, and I can start cracking on with some other bits. Wiring loom done. What? Gone. Disappeared. Put it away. I'm glad that's done. I'm glad that I hit that today. It took a few hours. It wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that made it look really complicated. I think the reason for that is probably they've got a lot more sort of technology in their vans. They've got a bit more reversing sensors and what have you. So for me, it was just a case of unplugging everything where it needed to be unplugged, pulling it through. It was very fiddly, and it did need to be planned out. There was a couple of times where I'd put it through and realised that I'd messed up, so I had to pull it all back again, and you have to make sure that you get the right plugs through the holes at the right time. I didn't want to cut too many holes, hence why I haven't got rid of that bit there. That would have been a nightmare. There's no way I could have cut through the 2 skins that are inside the cavity there and popped it straight up through, so I'm happy with that. If that's all I've got to work around, happy days. For the most part, really pleased with it. It's just a clean run all the way through now. So if you are doing your own self-build and you are built and you've never done it before, you've got no experience, much the same as me, just tackle each job step by step. Do it one bit at a time. It's daunting, but it's never as bad as you think in my limited experience. The windows, I thought they were going to be a problem. I could have, if I was to do them again, I could do them better, but it was my first time. Same with the wiring loom. I learned some lessons, so yeah. So if I cocked anything up massively or there was anything I could have done differently, feel free to leave it in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want, but thanks for joining me. I've got some doors now, but that's going to be a whole nother video because that's going to be an ongoing project. Now that I've got the wiring loom out of the way, I can start measuring things up properly, empty the van out completely, start working on the floor, getting the floor laid out so I can put the floor plan in. I'm going to batten and insulate it first, and then I'm going to just put the old ply lining that came with the van, which wasn't in the best condition, but it'll do for while I'm trying to plan things out and sort bits. But yeah, so that's that. So thanks for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Peace.